It's Monday, March 6th. And a lot's been going on in Congress since the Republicans took over. But one of the major events that's going on is this committee that is being run by Jim Jordan. Now, Jim Jordan has a law degree. I thought he was just a wrestling coach, an assistant wrestling coach. But he has a law degree. But he never really practiced law. He never even took the bar exam, according to what I know. But meanwhile, Jim Jordan is heading this committee, which is sort of an attack on the J6 committee. This committee is called Weaponizing against the Conservatives. He has been complaining, along with other Republicans, that the Democrats weaponized against conservatives. I'm not even sure what a conservative is anymore. Conservative used to mean that we really don't want a lot of changes in our life. We're happy with the way things are. We would like everything to be running the same way it ran before. Change and spending money are things that conservatives are basically against. But the conservatives that we have now are right-wing fascists, discrimination, military associations like the Oath Takers and the Proud Boys. Those are the kinds of conservatives that we have in this country now. And that is beyond what I consider conservatism. In any event, Jim Jordan has gone ahead with his committee. And one of the things he demanded when he stood by Mike McCarthy to make him the majority leader was that if he helped Mike get the majority leadership, then he wanted to run the Weaponization Committee. And he got his way, of course, because he was a staunch backer of Mike McCarthy and a very staunch backer of Donald Trump, too. So now he's asking Christopher Wray, the head of the FBI, to send over 16 more agents to testify before his committee. Now, this committee, in my mind, is one of the most ridiculous things that the Republicans have done in recent memory. And believe me, they've done a lot of ridiculous things in recent memory. But creating a House committee to investigate the weaponization of the federal government is beyond my ken. This committee wants to find out what really happened on January 6th. They're operating on the assumption that agencies within the federal government have abused their power to silence, punish, and hurt conservatives. And the committee, based upon Jim Jordan's ideas, has vowed to expose this bias against the right. But so far, the evidence that these guys have brought forth in plain English sucks. The three agents were a bust. They claimed to know a lot of things, but in the end they told nothing. The GOP insisted that these three guys who came to testify were brave whistleblowers with inside knowledge of the huge bias against conservatives within the government. And Jordan may as well have picked a few random folks at a gas station or maybe a Dunkin' Donuts on his way home from work for the amount of information that these guys revealed, because they knew nothing. They definitely thought that they had the kind of information that the committee would be able to use to fulfill the promise of finding the weaponization. But their collective testimony, based on actual evidence, was more like crackpot conspiracies that anybody could read online. The three guys seemed to be a group of angry ex-FBI agents. They actually traveled in right-wing circles. So are these the kind of people that Jim Jordan expects to use to prove that the Democrats were weaponizing against conservatives? When the Democrats wrote the reports with heavy footnotes, one of these guys even admitted that he was in favor of them dismantling the FBI. And another one of these guys said it would be better for Americans to die than to have any kind of domestic intelligence program. So these guys are FBI agents, ex-FBI agents that have been tilted in the wrong direction. And the gentlemen's names were George Hill, a retired supervisory intelligence analyst from the FBI's Boston field office, and Stephen Friend, an ex-special agent who worked in the Daytona Beach office, and Garrett O'Boyle, a special agent from Wichita, Kansas, who was recently suspended. These were the three guys that they brought in to testify. And Hill wrote stuff on Twitter that it was a setup and part of a larger Democratic plan using their enforcement arm of the FBI to promote lies against the J6 insurrection, claiming that the J6 insurrection was a setup and part of a larger Democratic plan to use the FBI as an enforcement arm. And Friend, he's also claimed that the FBI was wrongdoing and was suspended after he refused to take part in a SWAT raid of a January 6th suspect who had been accused of being a member of a right-wing militia group with ties to the 3%er movement. So these guys who Jim Jordan sent in to prove his case were not very well selected, to say the least. Because these guys appear to me to be the same kind of people that lined up to participate in the J6 insurrection. And O'Boyle compared the COVID-19 vaccine mandates to Nazi genocide. And get this, O'Boyle and Friend both testified that they had received money from Kash Patel, a Trump loyalist and former high-ranking official in Trump's administration. They got $5,000 apiece to testify. So can you honestly think that they were going to get up there and tell anything that even remotely resembled the truth about what was going on? Why would they get money to testify? Because probably they couldn't get anybody who wanted to testify. Because the whole thing is nonsense. But they got paid $5,000, so they came there and they told their stories. And their stories are shit. So I leave you with that this morning. Have a great day. Bye.